Yo, what is up gamers? Russ here, coming at you with a new series of Season 4 dungeon commentaries. We're going to start off today with the Iron Docks from my Demon Hunter point of view. I just want to tell you guys that I have not really been spamming out the dungeons so far, so my gear's a little bit behind where I want it to be at time of recording on this one. I will put my talents and gear up on screen for you now so you can have a look. I am playing the Venthyr single target raid build, you know, Nadia, all the usual stuff. I'll put my conduits and soulbinds and stuff up there as well. But yeah, I figured I would just punch this one out as quickly as I can, really. This is my second run of Iron Docks. The first one was a little bit messier and I got a massive host on stream in the middle of it. So, you know, there was emotes flying everywhere. This was taken on stream, of course. So, yeah, that one I thought I would scrap and do this one, which turned out to be a 19 and in time as well. So that's great. And my plan really here is to just bash out these commentaries, one for each dungeon, as quick as I can at the start of the season on my Demon Hunter, so you guys have something to go by for the rest of the season. Don't know how long people will be playing the season, so I want to get all my content out as quickly as I can at the beginning. So without further ado, let's jump into the key. And yeah, this is a plus 19 Iron Docks on Tyrannical, Quaking, and Inspiring. So as usual, I'm going to be talking through my mistakes, if I made any, and what I also think went well in the key so that you can learn from hopefully what I did well, but also I can point out things I did bad, of which there are a couple in this key. Nothing too crazy, slightly comical if anything. And honestly, I kind of like the Iron Docks dungeon. It's a short one, 30-minute timer, and you know, it's got a lot of trash and stuff like that. So I'm going to try out some different builds in it as well. So as the timer ticks down for the key now, I am going to be taking, I believe it is haste in this one. I'll of course fast forward and slow down bits of the video if I feel like I need to. We're going to start off straight away by invis potioning, or I use my belt here to get past the first set of mobs so that we can just skip all these trash ones with, they're like the snipers, they just shoot random people and they're quite annoying to deal with. We're going to go straight in for the infiltrators and also the Zul'Gurmuks, the mini boss on Shrouded, at the same time. So here I just decide to send my meta on everything. I'm playing Collective Anguish, so I'm aiming to do as few death sweeps as possible, really, just enough to be able to maintain my sinful brand on everything, because that is going to be my priority here. So we're just going to have more and more mobs kind of coming in as we go. Important thing to do here really is dodge those infiltrators' frontal cones. And none of this trash really in this dungeon seemed too devastating. There's a couple named mobs which have kind of special abilities. This one that we're fighting right now, called Lugar, I think it's called. He does like a hammer on the tank. So I'm not 100% sure how it works. As I said, this is like my second time in the dungeon. But I think it's like an AoE around the tank. So treat it like a frontal. At least that's what I was doing. And nothing really went wrong with it. It's that shattering strike that you see there. And I'm just focusing on Zul'Gurmuks because I think that's a bit more of the priority to go because it heals quite a lot. So I'm just standing behind Oligar and cleaving with my emphasis and my damage and stuff going onto Zul'Gurmuks here. Making sure that we especially focus Zul'Gurmuks when she puts up that blood shield, because that's going to be healing her. And doing a lot of AoE damage to everybody. Really does start hurting when you get into those higher keys. And we're just cleaving down Oligar. Nothing too crazy. Every time a bat spawns from Zul'Gurmuks, chuck your Fel Eruption on it. If that's not ready, you can imprison it, and you can also use a Chaos Nova as well. So pretty standard with the DH rotation. And if you don't know the Venthyr DH rotation by now, I've got a couple videos up on my channel, a few months old at this point, where I'll teach you, you know, everything you need to know. Talents, conduits, nothing's really changed for this season. It might do with the Shrouded Affix and with this new like Fated gear. I'm going to be making a full guide for raiding and a full guide for Mythic Plus pretty soon. I want to get those out early, as I said, because I don't know how long this season really lasts, right? So a lot of this trash is kind of more in the same. Focusing the Deadeye here because he is inspired. And yeah, he also, I think, just shoots random people. So you want to, anytime there's a mob which just shoots random people, like those Arabalests in Theatre of Pain, if you remember, those ones, they would just shoot barbs at random people. This guy has a Blade Storm, this Guanak guy. So just move away. Anytime you see a Blade Storm, move like really far away, because that thing really hurts. A lot of the trash mechanics in these older dungeons are a little bit clunky. They were very early designed, and they weren't really designed for Mythic Plus. Like, we had challenge modes on these WOD ones, but they weren't really like Mythic plus ready, and they didn't scale to the levels that we're kind of seeing these keys go to now, right? Especially when you get into like 25s. There's already people timing 25, 26, 27s. I've done, I think, maybe a 20 or something already, and I'm just going to try and push in next week. I need to get my gear up, so I've been more focusing on, well, firstly, I've been away this week, so I haven't really had time to farm gear, but my first, order of events is really to get my gear ready, and then I can start pushing when I've got a little bit of that. I'm not really sure how strong Demon Hunter's going to be this season, but I'm hoping it's not too bad, and maybe there are a couple different builds that we can switch up to, because I'm not sure how much I'm fancying like another entire season of playing Sinful Brand Slave build, but I do enjoy Demon Hunter as a whole, so maybe I can make it work, So on this boss, you're just really looking to focus down the mount, the Dreadfang, and hit the boss really just as much as you can cleave, but focusing all your damage onto Dreadfang, because that thing is going to charge random people and do quite a lot of damage to someone. So you want to get that thing out of the way as quick as you can. The only really, important things to look out for here is the boss does like a shield every now and then. It's like a big red bubble. It comes up on your screen. It's like a big shout thing. Not exactly sure on the name, but I'll say it next time it comes up. All you want to do when he does that is just not melee hit him for like 6 seconds, I think it is. It's a buff on him. There is Reckless Provocation. So when that ability goes off, you just want to not melee hit him for a second, and it's actually a buff he has in himself. It's an Enrage, so it can be cleansed by your hunter with Trank Shot. It can be soothed off by a druid. It can be shivved off by a rogue, for example. So any de-enrage you can do, can get that off the boss, and you can carry on hitting him. Other than that, not really many mechanics apart from the arrows on the ground, which you obviously want to not stand in the fires on the ground. I'm not sure if he has a frontal, but you should always be standing behind bosses for the most part anyway. So yeah, we're just kind of like moving him around this room away from the fire, and then I'm making sure that I run away from him until I see that cleanse has gone through, and I'm just looking at that on my unit frames, buff bars, and things like that to make sure that enrage has gone. And if you do hit that enrage, I'm pretty sure you get feared, and then you might end up running into the fire or something like that, right? And you might even take some damage. I'm not sure if it heals him, but I think you just get feared. It's the next boss which has a shield that also heals the boss. So after this boss, all we're doing here is kind of gathering up these Gronn laborers, and we're going to use these iron stars to hit as many of them as we can. So the tank's going to position these in front of the iron star that I'm in, as you can see. I'm just going to fire this one straight down, try and hit not just the Gronn in front of you, but also the trash. Like, think of it like 3 lanes in like a bowling alley, right? You want to hit as much trash as you can, because this trash does give percentage. So you want to be firing these iron stars. That second one went a bit wonky. Personally, I would have sent that second one down the middle. As you see, there's like a middle pack that's still standing, and I can't actually turn my iron star anymore to the left to hit that pack. So kind of think of it like 3 lanes. The first one go more to the left, the second one more to the middle, and the third one more to the right. But hit as much trash as you can. Any trash that you do miss, you're probably going to have to take, or there is a lot of trash later on. So we missed like a massive pack in the middle there, which was quite a lot of free percentage. And now we're going to have to make up for that after the second boss. So between the second and third boss, there's a lot of trash, there's a lot of beasts and things. We're going to have to make up for all that trash that we just missed with the iron stars by killing extra trash with our actual hands, right? So not in our best interest to miss those, but as I said, it was like probably most people's first or second time in this dungeon, so you can expect a couple of mistakes. But once you get into the higher keys, you're going to be really wanting to be efficient with those iron stars, because it's going to save you a lot of time if you can execute those correctly. Now this trash that we're on here, nothing really to say. We're focusing the infiltrator. I always focus on infiltrator when I see one, because those leeching claws as you get into the higher keys, the vampiric claws I think that it does on the tank, it heals quite a lot. Like it's supposed to be the tank smash, but it also heals it. So that's why we're seeing things like monk right now. Windwalker monks are being really good, because they have a rising sun kick, which has an inbuilt kind of mortal strike mechanic, which is going to stop those dreadlord infiltrators from healing as much. When you get into the higher keys, they really do heal a lot. So going through the gauntlet, we are just going to be kind of waiting out the barrage, and just always you can hear, it's quite useful to have like the voice lines turned on, so you can hear when he's like keep firing, or like he's reloading and stuff like that. You can kind of passively take in that information without using your eyes. You can put your eyes on the trash that you're killing, and you know, all this fire on the floor and things like that, and all these mechanics going on. You can use your ears to know if you're standing in a safe spot, and you just want to be hiding, you know, taking cover behind these boxes and barrels and cargo crates and things like that. So you kind of do this gauntlet in 3 stages. You run the first part, hide behind where we are now, fighting this laborer. Then you're going to run across the road, and then again to the next pack behind some more crates, and then you can go round to the boss room. So just be careful here. I've seen groups like full wipe on this gauntlet just because they were impatient, and that can very easily deplete your ki. We had a bit of a messy pack here. We kind of, you know, I'm a DH, so I can just kind of run across and fell rush over through the barrage, but in a hierarchy it's probably a straight one shot even from 1 tick. Then we had a pretty rocky pack, to be honest. Like, I'm pretty sure only 2 or 3 of us survived even. I'm making sure I move out and back in. And we've not got much space. As you can see, we've got a Dreadlord Infiltrator here. We have you know, that sleepy cloud moving around, which is really annoying because there's so many other kind of visual effects going on here. We've got fire on the ground. We've got a sleeping cloud, which is obviously annoying us there. We've got the frontal coming from the Dreadlord, which I just fell rushed through to dodge right at the last second. We have, you know, the cannon barrage that we need to still be tucked into the side for. We've got a blade storm going on here, so I had to dash through again and get sleeped just to dodge that blade storm. I've popped like everything. I've popped my health stone. I've popped my health potion. I've popped my netherwalk just there. And this infiltrator is just not going down because we don't have enough damage to kind of heal through its vampiric claws. As you're going to see, it's healing like 15% of its health every time it hits the tank with that. But we are slowly whittling down the non-healing mobs like the Battlemaster and stuff while we wait for the group to walk back. So quite an annoying pack. Took way longer than it should have, but we somehow managed to survive. As a DH, as a squishy little DH, I managed to keep my self-healing up through you know, like potions and health stones and things. And then you can go through to the boss room, which will stop the RP of the, you know, cannon barrage. Now on this boss, we're going to be focusing on what's it called? Ariok Dugru, which is the orc female woman, the blood boss. All you need to really do is interrupt the blood bolt and be focusing her. And meanwhile, this Emberblade dude, the orc male guy with the big sword, he does like a spinning flame slash through the tank. So just make sure you're not standing on the tank or in front of that guy. He'll charge like straight through the tank with that one. And then every now and then he'll kind of turn towards someone in range and fire like 2 flame waves, which is like a big wall of fire. If that hits you, it's almost a one shot, even in just like a 1918. So in a hierarchy, that'll just be a straight one shot. So just make sure if you see him turn that you move behind him. He won't fire it like immediately out from his sword. So if you're standing on top of him, you'll probably be okay. Although I can't say with 100% certainty that you'll be okay. And yeah, so if you're standing right on top of him, you might be right, because I think he fires it like 3 yards from himself. So you might be okay. And yeah, throughout this boss, you're just going to want to... So you're focusing on the orc female blood woman. And every now and then, like maybe every 15-20 seconds, she's going to put a shield on the lowest HP of the 3 bosses, because this is a council kind of boss fight. She's going to put a shield on the lowest of the 3. So if you focus, you know, the orc guy, the male, what's he called? Flame Emberblade. If you focus on him, she's going to shield him. If you focus on her, she's going to shield herself. If you focus the bomb squad lady, Nisa, she's going to put the shield on her. So obviously, your best interest is to take out the person doing the shields. So we're going to be putting our damage onto Dugru. And if you break the shield, it's quite a small shield. It's only about, you know, 5-10% of her max HP. It's quite easy to break even just from dots. So I was letting my Sinful Brand fall off towards the end, just so that it wouldn't be ticking through that shield when she did put it up. And if you break the shield, she heals like 20-30% of her HP. So you just want to focus her till she does a shield. And then as soon as she puts the shield or starts casting the shield, you switch to something else, wait for the shield to expire, and then back on her, and so on, until she's dead. And once she's dead, you've got one less boss to worry about, and you don't really have to worry about stopping DPS anymore. So let me go for the Emberblade dude, because we can actually move him around. As you see, there's a lot of traps and stuff on the ground here. So we're kind of watching our feet with all these traps. She also throws like a big bomb squad thing, which is like a big orange swirly at the ground every now and then. She also just shoots random people, but she throws traps down, which just root you. I think they actually might stun you if you get hit. And then she puts this big orange swirly, which you just got to move out of. So that's the Nisa Nox doing that one. So we just leave her till last because you can't really move her. It can get quite hectic if you try and fight everything on top of her. You can do it where you can just cleave all 3 bosses on top of her, but you'll be really pushed for space with traps, especially if you're running like a heavy melee comp. But you can get some free cleave damage on her if you do tank the other 2 bosses on top of her. Just remember that the order of kill is definitely always Dugru first, and then you can probably choose between the other 2. But the spinny Emberblade sword guy is kind of annoying because he just dashes around all over the place, and it's just one extra thing to look out for with the fire waves and stuff. So usually he's second, and then the bomb lady doesn't really do that much. So now to the next trash. Yeah, as I said, it's just a load of beasts. You can kind of pull big. From what I noticed, there isn't really too many trash mechanics on this trash. Like the Cleft Tooth doesn't really do that much. It's just like a big wall of health. The Wranglers throw down these like spikes onto the ground, which is just like a little bit of they do these spears on random people, and then they throw down like tacks on the ground, like something that would puncture your tires in a car, something like that. And you just need to not stand on those. I think they slow you. So yeah, you just don't want to stand in those. And other than that, they don't really do too much. Like it feels like some random damage goes out onto people. These Clefts seem to charge around, but I couldn't really feel like they were, charging someone, whereas like a telegraphed ability you avoid. I think it's just random unavoidable damage. So yeah, it's all kind of the same. You got some infiltrators along here as well. And then the other trash is like, I think there might be there's a technician here. I think one of them down here also does a blade storm, and one of them also does that same smash that I talked about at the start. The smash, I think it's the last pack before the boss. One of the guys in that one does the smash on the tank, so just make sure again that you're not standing on the tank for the frontal kind of mechanic. Yeah, the Wranglers, they just throw shit on the ground and put spears on stuff, target random people. And then you got the Sky Terrors, which are like the flame 2-headed dragon things. All they're going to really do is put fire on the ground. So then you're dealing with both fire on the ground, and you're also dealing with the little tacks on the ground. But there's nothing too crazy dangerous. You generally just want to focus on the fire on the ground dragon guys, the Sky Terrors. And then I think Cleft Hoofs basically do nothing. So you can probably just leave them till later. I'd say Flame Spitters, Ironwing Flame Spitters. You want to be focusing those, and then just cleaving down the Wranglers, and the Clefts Hoofs really don't do anything. So take as much or as little trash as you need. Obviously just factor it into your route. If you're using Method Dungeon tools, you can plan out your routes in advance. Just watch your feet really, and if you are taking damage, pop a blur or Nether Walk if you need, or a health potion or whatever. We had one of our DPS go down here as well. I think he just misstepped possibly. Usually as well you want to focus inspired mobs, but they aren't really doing anything because there's no cast that you can really interrupt here, except potentially do a Chaos Nova here and there, maybe a Fell Eruption, just help out with mitigation of sorts across the group, and you should be all good. And then in the last pack, again, as I said, you've got the Blade Storming dude and the Smashy guy. And that's really all there is for trash in this dungeon. It's not too crazy. Obviously, I haven't tried this one on Fortified as of time of recording, because this is a tyrannical week. But yeah, nothing too crazy. That's the whole dungeon of trash. As I said, if you get those Iron Stars correct, then you have to take less of this, which means you can have more time. I think if we'd have done that, we might have even 2 chests of this key, which would have been really good. So moving on to the next boss, Oshir. He is just some big feral cat looking dude, like a malformed Lion King guy. And yeah, all he's going to do is jump around. As you saw there, I got hit. He's going to kind of attack the tank. I'm not sure if he has a frontal or a cleave or anything, and he's going to just like jump backwards for a second, and then he's going to like walk straight forward in a line and cleave everything in a frontal cone. So watch out for that one. And then he's going to jump over every now and then to these cages and free something. So there we got the wolf cage. Be very, very, very careful with aggro. I would honestly wait for a second. Every time he jumps to a cage, just give your tank time to like put down a Death and Decay or Blood Boil a couple times, because the wolves will just attack the closest target and they pounce on, like, they just pounce someone immediately. And I've just been In my previous run to this, I got straight one shot by the wolves as soon as the cage opened because they all just hit me at the exact same time. So just wait before you I-beam or wait before you fell rush or anything like that. You'll still get the cleave, it's fine, but just be really, really careful. You have now been warned. And there again is that kind of ability where he jumps back and then he walks forward in line. So you got like a couple seconds to react. What I do usually on DH is just, you know, fell rush behind him and then you can keep up to him pretty easy. Now he's opened another cage, which is the Sky Terror. I got confused with the names before. These, you just want to interrupt. You can interrupt the acid spits. You can also stun them. You can use, you know, prison as like a kind of mini interrupt. You can use a fell eruption. You can actually interrupt them with your kick and stuff like that. So just focus that one down. There he goes, jumping away, doing his thing. And then the other ability you might have seen previous to this is he jumps on someone. I think he's going to do it on me in just a second. There it is. Was that time to feed? Now it really, really, really hurts. As you see, like I'm almost getting owned here. I've put blur and I've got an iron bark and I'm still just getting wrecked. And the way that you stop that ability, it's not timed or anything like that. He'll just do it until you're dead. Unless I think it's you break 10% of his HP. So you have to deal 10% of his HP in damage to, or like 8% or 10%, something like that, for it to break. So if you can, and you have damage, I know as a DH, there you go, the wolves, I committed to the boss there, and I said, there you go. I did it for the video, guys. Now you saw the wolves just instantly went on me because I charged in, right? So don't do what I did. Do as I say and not as I do, okay? But yeah, you want to break that time to feed by just focusing the boss. Like if you got any cooldowns, that's when you send them to just make sure that your partner doesn't die. Because that's, you know, this is a 19 tyrannical and it was like clapping me with 2 defensives on me. And in like a, you know, 20, 23, 25, that thing's going to really, really like rinse people. So you're going to probably need to even save your cooldowns for that because the boss doesn't do much outside of that. Now moving on to last boss. Not too hard. As you see here, I kind of messed up as well. I had the cannon on me. So there's 3 bosses. You've got Skullock, who's the main boss. You've got Koromar, who's like an orc bloke. And then there's another guy in the cannon right now. Who will only jump out the cannon and become attackable once Koromar is dead. So the order of killing is you want to kill Koromar as quick as you can to get the other dude out of the cannon because he's just going to be firing at someone. Like right now he's firing at the druid before he was firing at me. It does a ton of damage to that targeted person and it cleaves people around them. So if it's on you, you might want to move out of the group so that you're not cleaving your teammates. And yeah, you're going to get that guy down, Koromar, as much as you can. And as soon as he's down, now Zogosh, as you can see, is active and he just does nothing really. You can probably just focus Skullock here. I put some damage on Zogosh, but then I realized that Zogosh doesn't really have any abilities. He's kind of just this walking meat bag who melees the tank. So you can start focusing on Zogosh at that point and just cleave down, Skullock at that point and just cleave down Zogosh. Because that's going to be kind of like every, I'd say like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, Skullock is going to knock you all back and you have to run this gauntlet. As you saw, we kind of like ran up to the first set of crates on the left. You can usually make that one without too many movement abilities. And then you want to run behind either these barrels at the front. Here I was testing something, right? I never walked up to the boss and hit him because back in Warlords Draenor, I remembered that all you had to do was kind of get to this ring on the ground you see at the front of the boat and engage the boss, and he would stop doing the cannon barrage and then everyone else could walk. So I was actually going off my old Warlords Draenor brain, and I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you just had to get really close to him and then he would be engaged and then he would stop and then everyone else could come and, you know, come up to him and that would be fine. But here, I think his aggro resets. So he kept cannon barraging, which I wasn't expecting, which did almost all my health. And then he just meleeed me. So I did take the L there and I had to take the res, but it's kind of fine. Like the boss itself doesn't really do much. He just melees the tank and then he does the big, you know, the big smash. So we're just running up. This is the proper way to do it now. We're just running up to the cannon, the first set of thing here, spreading out for quaking. Now you can go past the next part as well. We're going to take the gateway here, but you can go behind those gray kind of like stacked up pipes or barrels looking things if you can't quite make it all the way to Skullock. But imagine like with the mobility in the game right now, someone's probably going to be able to make it from that first set of boxes on the left up to Skullock, and that will cancel the cast, so you can probably just run forward at that point, especially you got a warlock with the gateway like we had there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So focusing on what's he called, the first dude, Zogosh? No, that was the second guy. The first guy, so Zogosh gets out the cannon, and then you're just focusing on Skulllock and cleaving down the second guy. So pretty easy boss, and there's some really good loot in here, especially if you're after like upgraded tier pieces. I think there's like 5 helmets, 5 shoulders, 5 chests, 5 legs, you know. Yeah, there's literally everything, 5 gloves. So these old Warlords ones, they have like loads of chances for you to get you know, like your tier pieces, which you can then upgrade to 298 through Valor. If you didn't see, you know, my video about, you know, everything you need to know about season 4, then that one's also on my channel. So yeah, that's my first commentary of the season. I'm going to try and pump these out, as I said, as quick as I can. So expect a lot more uploads over the next couple of weeks in particular. Feel free to stop by the stream. Let me know what you thought of the video as well down in the comments. Let me know if you're going to keep playing Demon Hunter this season, or if you're going to switch to something else. I'd be interested for that. Or if you want to see anything else on this channel in particular, then let me know as well, and I'll try my best to get that out for you guys. Anyway, stop by the stream, put a like on the video if you liked it. If you're still here, I assume you liked it, so you might as well give it a like. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Have a great day as always, and until next time, peace.